Here's the Rambo franchise ranked. So here's all five movies. And I actually enjoy all five movies. I don't really dislike any of them. But coming in at number 5 is Rambo Last Blood Part 2. So I think Rambo himself was pretty cool. He's always cool in all the movies. He's sneaking around. He's a war veteran, so he's pretty cool. The action in the movie is pretty solid. There's shootouts. Rambo flies a helicopter. Rambo escapes the bad guys after using the radio, so the action is pretty solid. And the mission was pretty cool. He has to save people. But on the other hand, I think the action was actually light. Even though there is good action, I don't think there's a whole lot of action. It's like the first half of the movie is very light on action. The villains aren't memorable. I don't know who the villains are. And there's not really any character depth like the first one had. So it's enjoyable, but it's my least favorite. Number 4 is Rambo 3. So Rambo's mission to save the commander, I actually really liked. And the action in the movie was solid. Rambo is shooting in a fort. There's explosions. Rambo fights a guy at the end and blows him up. So the action was pretty good. I think there might be slightly more action in this movie than Rambo 2. So I think that's kind of why I prefer this one. On the other hand, like the second one, these two are basically tied. Like the second one, villains aren't really memorable. But something different from Rambo 2 is I don't think the setting really stands out. It's a desert, so there's not really anything interesting you can do with that, unlike even Rambo 2. So Rambo 2 and 3 are kind of interchangeable. I kind of like this one more because there's more action that I like. So, again, decent movie. It's pretty good. Number 3 is First Blood. Rambo, I do think, is a good character. He has PTSD. He's trying to deal with that. Sheriff Teasel was actually a pretty good villain. Not understanding Rambo and just kind of wants him out of the town. The action was pretty good. Rambo escaping the jailhouse was really thrilling. Rambo drives a truck through the town. That was pretty cool. Sylvester Stallone actually has a good performance in this movie. He's not hinged on just the action hero. He actually acts in the movie. So I thought he did pretty good. I think it's my second favorite Stallone performance, right after the Toymaker in Spy Kids 3D. The only negative I have with First Blood is, like, I really don't think... I think I kind of would have liked a straightforward action movie. However, we got that in part 2 and 3, and I liked those less. But there's not really a lot of action in the movie that I want. That's about the only thing. So, a really good movie, not one of my favorites. None of these movies are any of my favorites, but moving on. Number 2 is Rambo Last Blood. It's a bloody action movie. It's extremely bloody, so that's kind of fun. The villains are actually pretty good. They're drugging and selling girls, and unfortunately they did that to Rambo's adoptive daughter. So she dies. So then Rambo exacts vengeance on them, and the revenge gore was actually really good. Rambo shoots arrows, shoots a gun, and cuts a guy's heart out, cuts the main villain's heart out, and that was extremely graphic. So the third act revenge gore was actually a lot of fun. The negatives with it are, it doesn't really feel like a Rambo movie. It just feels like a Stallone movie. So there's nothing really, anything integral to the Rambo movie side of it. The movie felt kind of rushed. It probably could have needed like 10 more minutes to flesh out stuff, flesh out the relationship with Rambo and Gabriella. Could have fleshed out Gabriella's torment or whatever when she was at the club trying to deal with her dad not wanting her. So just things felt like felt rushed. So it could have been fleshed out a little more in parts. And there's not really any actual fight sequences, although I don't think any of these movies really have fight sequences. Rambo 3 does, but it could have used individual fight sequences, like Rambo goes against one person, Rambo goes against a second person, and that would have been a lot of fun. But other than that, I mean, like, I think this movie's actually pretty good. But number one is Rambo, the fourth movie. So, the mission of Rambo trying to save these people from the Maddo army was really good. And that army, they're really vicious villains. I mean, they are ruthless. They're killing people, enslaving them, so they're really vicious, and you really want Rambo to watch them. You want to see Rambo kill them. And, of course, the action is really solid in this one. There's a boat shootout. Rambo uses a big gun to kill every villain. So the action in the movie is actually really solid. The only things are like, I could have used like more individual fights, just like Rambo Last Blood. There could have been like individual fight sequences with Rambo and one of the villains throughout the movie, but other than that, I think Rambo is actually really good. So Rambo comes out as my number one favorite Rambo movie. Thanks for watching.